that was. I was terribly frightened. We were all alone in a desert and the storm was blowing in. But that's not where the story begins. It really begins 5 years before the war between the states, before I ever laid eyes on Theodore Roland, or the town of Niptiglow.
I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see. Oh, Susanna, now don't you cry.
You sound like a Jack Finchley. Why don't you sit down and quit that caterwauling? There's gonna be a hanging.
Oh, I gotta see this. Who is it?
It doesn't matter. Let's go get the cat.
You old goose! There ain't nothing pleasurable about a hanging.
Now, Ma, where is your sense of curiosity? Don't you want to come along and see who's gonna get his neck stretched this time?
Not if you pay me. Wait till it's your turn to swing on the end of a hangman's noose. Now get along with it.
Mom, come quick. It's Theodore and Miss Lily. They've got it. Come quick.
What do you mean? Theodore's been gone for hours. He's taking Lily to Granite Springs.
They didn't ever make it. They're stopped in Fairy Narrows by abandoned men, and they're both hurt real bad.
Well, go hitch up my horse.
Ain't no use, Mom. They're coming to you. A whole mob of them are headed this way.
Oh, run into the record, Sally.
There ain't no hope for him. We're gonna hang him sure.
Someone better talk quick.
Lily!
I don't think she's gonna make it, ma'am.
She's still alive?
Hanging on by a thread.
Well, what kind of town is this where an innocent girl like Lily can be shot and killed? Who did this to her?
They didn't know she was in the wagon. They was just trying to do their duty and deal out justice. It was a tragedy that she was there.
What do you mean by justice?
Well, truth had to come out sooner or later. It's your son, ma'am.
What about my son?
Now, I know this is hard to believe, but the fact is that he's been using his position as town sheriff to shelter a gang of bandits and highwaymen. He's their leader.
Never in my life have I heard such a ridiculous pack of lies.
Now there's hard, cold evidence against him. He's been arrested and they're bringing him to town now. I came on ahead and brought Lily because she was so badly hurt.
Lily, what happened?
She's been shot, Rev.
Shot? How?
They were after Roland. She was caught in the crossfire.
Has someone sent for the doctor?
I have. We ought to get her in the house. Let me carry her, Rev.
Put her on my bed. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. I knew it was only a matter of time before they caught my boy. Come on.
Here they come. Yeah, what's he done? Tell us. What's going on?
Men and women of Niptiglow, the mystery that has been bubbling our town for years is finally over. Do you remember when the bank robbed 2 weeks ago, and Mr. Davis the banker and 3 other fellas were shot? A king's rents were stolen that night by thieves wanting their brought to justice. And what about the gang of bandits that were terrorizing our state? So that folks around here having monster to death even right.
There's no point in even trying.
We sent out posse after posse to sort them, murdering outlaws, but we've never even come close to catch them. Well, now we know why. We had a snake that died and a Judas that missed. The battery who was supposed to be protecting us. Oh, shit. We never even looked at them. And you know what? He was lining his bargains with gold. It's true. Well, today justice finally caught up to them. He had used an innocent gal to shield these ways. We all thought he'd taken Billy Rutledge's bad deeds. But really, he had filled the wagon full of his loot to make a getaway. And we got the key for the rest of his days. Bring on the money,
We found all this gold hidden in the wagon, including jewelry stolen from the stagecoach. He even had a temerity to put some of Miss Lily's traveling kits.
What happened to Miss Lily? Tell us.
They stopped shooting at us, so we shot back, not realizing that relation
not fair. I say we hang him! To be served.
You can hang him, you can't have a fair trial.
What do you mean fair?
Gentlemen and ladies, we mustn't be hasty. Give this man a fair trial, and if he's as guilty as he seems, he'll be hung in all due time.
We've got all the proof we need. I say we hang him now.
Don't do this thing! We must give him a fair trial. I know you want to do this thing in a right and fair manner.
How can you say this? It's your daughter that's dying because of this murderer! Justice!
Hey, and that won't change what happened to Lily. She's my daughter. And I can wait another day for the hanging. Surely you can too.
Now, let's all go home. Roland will be put safely behind bars. We'll try him in the morning. Now get, all of you.
Robert, forgive me. Please, forgive me.
Give me a moment with my son.
I'm afraid we have to put him into custody, ma'am. But he can see him tonight at the jail.
Mom, is Lily still alive?
Oh yes, don't you worry, son. I'll take good care of her.
Let me go see her before she... I beg you.
Now you know that's impossible. I'm sorry.
Mom, tell her I'm sorry. Ask her to forgive me. Give me this. Blazes?
I heard gunshots. Is everything all right?
He's escaped.
He can't have gone far. Call the men.
What do you know about this?
Nothing.
You better not. Roland escaped! Get your guns!
Oh, God grant you speed.
On the lone prairie, I'm a roving cowboy.
Lily. I came to ask your forgiveness. Your hands are cold. No, Lily, no! You must hear me. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was gonna get you out of this rotten town, but it didn't work. I was too late. Well, now I'm gonna take that stage and get up for the both of us. And I'm gonna take you with me. Here. Always. Goodbye, Lily.
That was the last time Theodore Roland saw Lily, and it was the last time the town of Nancy Glow saw Roland for many, many years. No one is quite certain what Roland did all those years, but right about the time he left, the war between the states was beginning back east. We know Roland fought in this war, and when it was over, he returned to Nancy Glow. He would have gotten himself hung if anyone had known he was there, but no one knew. He was an outlaw and lived in the desert, and that's how I first came to meet him. One dark night when a fearsome storm was rolling in over the desert. I sure wish this wind would stop blowing. There's a storm brewing, girls. If it rains, we'll have to eat in the wagon. If it rains. Rain? Mom! Water! Mom! Water! Praise the Lord! He has heard our cry in the wilderness. Quick, Dorothy, Alice, whip it all them buckets and pots and pans. Yes, Mom. You mustn't waste a single drop. Scared, Mom? One of my girls is scared? Why? It's just a little bitty storm. He has storms in Kentucky. Not like this. Now the good Lord has brought us this far. We'll reach the promised land, yet.
The stew. It's watery enough. We better eat it quick before it's watered down any further.
Lord, once again we humble ourselves to thank you for the abundant blessings that you have poured and showered upon us. We thank you for bringing us into this here great big land.
Sure is big, Lord. We can't find the end of it. Thank you for the wonders of your creation. For the wolves who sang us to sleep last night. Oh, the wolves! But didn't eat us. For the snake which fell out of shot yesterday. It provided this here stew. We asked for water, Lord, and it is coming to us. In abundance. Thank you. You've given us a shelter from the storm we don't fit. With a little squashing. A little? More like a lot. Lord, our horses are dead. Now we know. Stone dead of starvation. But we thank you that you've given us legs to carry us for as far as we'll go. And we thank you for this, our last meal. Last? We have not gone hungry. Yet. Yet? And now my lambs. Look at them. Look at them, Lord. Must they perish in the wilderness? Think of the men seated by lonely campfires, destined to walk through this bitter life alone. What a comfort my prairie roses can bring them. Just a minute, Lord. Someone's coming. Places, girls.
I hope it's not those Indians again. I think there's someone out there.
Someone or something. Steady, girls. Hold your fire. Who goes there?
The name's Theodore Rowland, ma'am.
Drop that pistol. There's 8 of us, and we all know how to shoot.
I don't mean you no harm. I spied your wagon out here all alone and thought I might be of service.
Well, I guess I'll just have to trust you. What? You ain't the first of the human being we've seen in 2 weeks. We just ate helpless females in a strange land. And sure could do with some service.
Helpless? Where'd you get all these guns?
I ain't bringing 7 such fragile flowers out west unarmed. They all know how to use them guns too. I learned them myself. You couldn't find 7 better shots in all of Kentucky.
I believe it.
My daughters, Carlotta, Lizette, Ellen, Dorothy, Alice, Annie. And Jenny. We were just sitting down to eat. Would you care to join us?
No, I mean,
Good, there's very much to go around.
forgive the pride, man, but what does 7 ladies like yourself do out all alone in the desert?
That's a right good question, mister. Ain't that a fine question, girls? Oh, yes, Mom. We come from Kentucky, where we had a little bit of a farm. We was all alone on account of my dear husband passing on 7 years ago. Well, we started hearing stories of the westward. Miles and miles of open land just for the taking. But more than that, we heard about the men.
Men?
Yes, sir.
Hundreds and hundreds of men with nobody to take care of them.
We were told we were being 10, perhaps even 100 men to every woman.
Now I ask you, is that enough wives to go around?
No, ma'am.
Why, that's 9 men crying their eyes in loneliness each night. Well, I says to myself, someone's got to fix them. Now my girls, they've been raised right. They know how to cook, clean, shoot, and care for a man right and proper. And I says to myself, God has blessed me with 7 such daughters. What right have I to go around holding them for and not sharing them with those less fortunate?
No, right.
There's a need for good wives out west, and I aim to supply them.
So you set out west alone?
A good sense of humor, mister. Did you notice that, girls? A man with a healthy sense of fun?
Yes, Mom.
We came with the wagon train.
What happened?
Jenny fell sick and wasn't fit to travel.
We knew there was a town nearby, so I told the rest of the train to go on ahead, and we set out to find the town, but I reckon we got lost.
They left you to find the town alone?
We're hardly defenseless.
Someone should have seen that you got the town safely.
Don't fret yourself, mister. We had the good Lord protecting us.
But now, men, where are your horses?
Dead. There weren't Not for them nor us. We only just had our last meal. But just when we needed help, God sent you, our angel.
Angel, man? I'm no angel.
A man of humbleness. You take notice of that, fellas. Yes, Mom.
How about tell us your story? What are you doing running about the desert alone? Where's your home?
I have no home. I'm just a wanderer with no account.
But surely there's a town nearby.
There is a town nearby, no more than 15 miles away.
Praise the Lord.
I know of a boarding house there where you can stay. I'll have to ride there and send someone with the wagon to fetch you. Will you be all right?
No need to worry on our account. But, sir, our Jenny's in a bad way.
She needs a doctor.
It will be my pleasure, man.
Ma, what's happening?
It's all right, lamb. This kind man has taken you to a doctor, and then he'll send a wagon for us.
Don't be afraid, man. I won't hurt you.
We'll be there soon, Jenny.
Ma, should we have allowed him to take her? We don't know anything about him.
For all we know, he'd be a murderer. And a thief! Besides, what is he doing wandering out all alone in the desert on a stormy night?
Now, girls, let's ride cautiously. But as I've always said, when you're in a desert without food, surrounded by wolves and snakes and Indians, with a storm brewing, and the good Lord sends you an angel on a horse, well, don't you go refusing him.
As I
As I walked out on the streets of Laredo.
Oh my gosh.
Well, my boots, you will never believe who I just saw.
Who?
Theodore Rowland, the thieving, murdering son of a crippled coyote.
You're drunk and seeing things. He don't look any more like Peter Rowland than a skunk looks like a cow.
I ain't drunk. I'm perfectly sober.
If Roland dared set foot in this town, he'd get his neck stretched in a noose.
Right?
Hey, tell her that you're rolling.
I've had enough of your wild delusions. I'm going home before you tell me you've seen George Washington. Here, you can carry your own gun. I'm sick of breaking my back for you.
It is Theodore Rowland.
Go home, old man.
She's right, Eventually. You should go home. It isn't good for you to be out so late.
Look who's talking so big. I done see you at home all snug and cozy in your bed.
Don't you think you've had enough?
Oh, don't touch it. Oh, ain't it enough that everyone thinks so eventually seeing things? And they want to go along and take the only thing that keeps this old man warm at night. You'll tell everyone that I'm right, won't you? You are you, ain't you?
Of course I am. Now, why don't you go home?
Oh, they kicked me out last week. Say, Mr. Theodore, Sheriff, your gal don't look so good. She looks kind of sickly. I wonder what's wrong with her. Hey, wake up!
She's sick.
Sick. I got me a cure for that.
Mom? Carlotta? Alice?
It's all right, man.
Where are my mom and sisters? What have you done to them?
Don't you remember? We left them with the wagon.
I don't believe you. I've never seen this place in my life. You've kidnapped me.
Man, you sit. I need to get you inside.
Don't come near me. I know how to shoot a rifle, and I'm not afraid to use one.
Dad blasted hell. I didn't give you leave to take my gun.
Take me to my mom and sisters, or I'll shoot.
Oh, don't shoot. It weren't me that took your mom and sisters, I swear. Oh, I'm punctured.
You can have a rifle. You're not well. I'm going to get you to the doctor.
Don't come near me.
What'd you do that for? You've hurt her.
I suppose I should have let her blast me full of holes and not set a peep. Riled up gal with a rifle's more dangerous than a trapped wildcat.
What's going on out there? Benchley, what have I told you about disturbing the peace?
It weren't me, it were that gal.
What gal?
That gal. Turnips and tumbleweeds. They were there a minute ago.
Who was?
Oh, let me tell you, sir. There's strange things afoot. Who do you suppose I should see walking through town but Theodore Rowland, carrying a gal as pale as death?
Theodore Rowland. Are you sure?
Why would you doubt the honest word of old Benchley?
And he had a gal with him.
Let me tell you, she had hair as black as night and skin so pale she looked like she'd just been dug up from the grave. If I didn't know any better, I'd have said it was Lily Rutledge.
Don't be preposterous. Lily Rutledge has been dead for 5 years.
Well then, it must have been her ghost. I gave her a swig of my whiskey here, and she came to life like she was mad and shooting at me. Woo-wee, this is powerful stuff.
You're crazy, old man, and you're drunk. Now get out of here before I shoot you myself.
Nobody believes old Benchley. Nobody.
Theodore Rowland and Lily Rutledge.
Willie.
Oh, Betsy, tell me again how you feel for me.
Betsy. Willie. You don't want me to tell you how I feel about you right now.
I'm gonna marry your daughter. Don't try and stop.
Put that gun away. It's Theodore. How many times have I told you not to sleep with that gun? You might hurt someone.
Well, that's the general idea. If there's an intruder.
I've had my fill of crazy people with rifles for one day.
Who you been fighting this hour of the night?
Jenny Nettleton for one.
This gal? She looks peaceful and quiet like to me.
That's because she was knocked out with the whiskey jug.
You hit a gal?
Not me. Eventually, Slauson.
Well, what did you do that for?
She tried to shoot him.
This gal tried to shoot Bensley Slauson?
Don't even try to understand. Just fetch him off.
All right. Hey, Mom.
Theodore! Oh, you're all right. There a day goes by where I'm thankful to the Lord to see you alive and well.
I'm right as rain, but But I've got a girl in power of trouble.
Oh, where did she come from?
I found her stranded in the desert.
You roused out the strangest things from that desert.
Why, what's ailing her?
She was sick to begin with. And then she got lammed over the head with a whiskey jug.
A whiskey jug?
It's a long story. Her mom's gonna have me strung up for taking such lousy care of her.
Her mom?
She's a ma and 6 sisters. I found them with a broken wagon and no food or horses.
Oh, well, they would have starved themselves if you hadn't found them.
Her ma and sisters are still out there. Can you send Willie and me with the wagon to fetch them?
I've been hankering for another adventure.
Meeting her ma and sisters will be an adventure for certain. You better watch yourself, or you'll find yourself engaged before you can say how do you do.
Well, they can all stay with me. I have plenty of empty room. Willie, go hitch up the horse.
Yes, Mom?
Why, she's burning up. However, did you find her and her family?
I was making my rounds about the town.
I worry about you, you know. Living out there all alone, like a fugitive.
I keep busy.
That's not the life I want for you. I want you to be able to hold your head up and hide in broad daylight, instead of the shadows, like a criminal.
In the eyes of everyone in this town, I am a criminal.
Someday they need to find out the truth. When are you going to find out who really is responsible for Lily's murders?
I've seen enough of death and killing. I don't want revenge.
Revenge, no. Justice, yes. The man who murdered Lily is still alive and well in this town, and somebody's got to put a stop to him. Things have only gotten worse since he went away. No one feels safe anymore. Of course, they still blame it all on you.
On me?
Oh, rumor has it that after you broke out of jail, you rejoined your gang of bandits and have been riding with them ever since. Only a few of us know the truth.
It's no use, Mom. I'm a marked man.
You were once the sheriff of this town, and you risked your life countless times to keep the people of Nantico safe. They still need you. Find out who is responsible for terrorizing this town and put a stop to him. You have people behind you.
Wagon's all hitched up. Let's go rescue them gals.
Think about what I've said. Be careful.
Yes, Mom?
Oh, it must be them.
They'll be some through. I'll put on more coffee and go and get that plate of sandwiches I made up this afternoon. They probably have not had a decent meal in weeks, being on that wagon train all the way from Kentucky.
Oh, come on in out of the rain. Oh, you must be Mrs. Middleton. I'm Mrs. Roland, Theodore's mom. And here's our maid Salad.
I'm sure I'm grateful for your hospitality. These are my girls. Carlotta, Lizette, Ellen, Dorothy, Alice, Annie, and then Jenny, who you've already met.
Oh, yes, indeed. She's upstairs resting comfortable. Doc says her fever has broken and she'll be all right. Mine did a bump on the head. A bump? Would you like to see her?
Oh, indeed I would. I'll come with you, Ma.
I'll take you right out. The rest of you girls will be taken care of here by Sally Lynn.
Come and sit down, girls. You look all worn out. Are you hungry? Have some milk and coffee. I'm still hungry. I've been eating.
Whole plate of sandwiches!
They're only hungry because they didn't have the snake stew that Mom made. Snake stew? Sounds dreadful. Well, it was all we had. If Miss Rowland hadn't come along when he did.
We would have starved to death in the desert coming to die for a new wagon!
We were in an awful wait until he came.
We sure are grateful to you for coming to the rescue in your wagon.
We had an awful wait until he came.
Oh, shucks, gals. Make me feel all warm and fuzzy in my innards. We're nothing but a gentleman would do.
Now don't try to be modest, Mr. Rowland. With a plain act of heroism and no mistake.
Thank you, ma'am. You sure know how to cook.
Oh, I didn't lift a finger. It was all my daughter.
Oh, I'm mighty grateful for the victuals, gals.
Spoken like a true gentleman, Mr. Willie Rowland. How old did you say you were?
19 and coming fast on 20.
A fine age. Lizette is 17. Ellen Helen's 16, Dorothy's 14, and Alice is 12. They're fine girls, aren't they?
Yes, ma'am. More handsome gals I never did see.
Have you ever considered settling down with, a wife and a family?
Oh, shucks, ma'am. Of course I have.
Well, one of my girls will make a fine wife.
Oh, and I don't doubt, ma'am. To tell you the plain truth, I don't really have a hankering after a gal.
Girls, I raised you better than that. We come to supply these poor men with wives. And if he's already got his own one, he ain't in need of our services, and we should be rejoicing with him.
That's right friendly of you, ma'am.
Now, this gal of yours. Tell us about it.
Oh, well, her name is Betsy Rickaby. She ain't nothing fancy like your gals. She's just homegrown. Not growing up in the back east, but Betsy suits me just fine.
Does this girl return your affection?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Leastways, it's what she told me when she brought me a lock of her hair and told me if I couldn't marry her, she'd die and shrivel up like a slug on a hot day.
How romantic?
Oh, Betsy's the most romantic gal I never laid eyes on. She eats it up like it was candy.
Well, I am convinced, Mr. Willie Rowland, that my girls and I haven't upon this town at just the right moment.
What are you and Betsy the most beautiful, most spruced up one in this town ever saw? Won't we, girls? Of course we will. I'll bake the cake and Carlotta will sew the dress. Of course.
And I'll arrange the flowers. And Jenny can sing!
Well, I'm obliged for your kindness, but I'm afeard there ain't gonna be no wedding.
Why not? Doesn't she love you?
It's her pa. He don't return my affection. His own reason she bear for cup. He don't want me near his daughter. He's my free and tell him to so.
Well, now, Mr. Willie, it's a natural thing for a pa to be protective of his daughter.
There ain't nothing natural about Hiram Rickaby. You don't want no fella near his daughter, and that's the honest truth. Betsy and me, we got to meet no secret like, and when he caught Stalker one day, he told me if he ever caught me near his daughter again, he'd knock me sprawling and give me a licking I soon wouldn't forget. I've been hankering to ask Betsy and Nancy Clopine, but now it ain't no use.
Why, that's hogwash. You're a fine young fella, and I'm sure Mr. Hero Rickaby would be pleased to let you escort Bessie to the ball once he discovers your fine qualities.
That's right.
You don't know Hiram Rickaby.
Have you ever gone, open and honest like, and asked his permission to court his daughter?
Well, when I think on it, no.
There you go.
I've always been too afeard of my life to speak to him on purpose.
Faint heart never one fair lady.
Well, nobody can accuse me of being cowardly.
Well, then, it's settled. My girls and I will have to get all fixed up and handsome for you, Betsy.
And her pa.
It's time to put away these breakfast things before some lay out dinner.
You gals seem romantic like. How do you think a fella should go about courting a gal?
Well, I'm mighty fond of when a feller sings to me.
I can sing, play banjo and harmonica.
You gotta pick the right song that sets your heart to fluttering.
I know. Get along, little doggies, and blue-tailed fly.
Those aren't romantic songs for a lady.
What about my darling Clementine?
You don't want to sing her a song about a lady who gets drowned.
Beautiful Dreamer. It's very popular back east. But you must have the right setting. You have to go at midnight.
Go to the Rickety claim at night?
You want to do it proper, don't you? It won't be romantic except at night.
Go to her window real quiet and then throw something at it, like a pebble.
You want me to throw rocks at her window? What if I hit her on the head by accident?
A small pebble, not a boulder. I'll get her attention, then she'll come to her window, look out into the darkness, and hear the soft voice of the man she loves singing.
Whoa, you gals don't care to come along and help me out for a bit?
Why, we'd be glad to.
Like a rose.
I hardly know whether I slept or not after this musing. At any rate, I started wide awake on hearing a vague murmur, peculiar and lugubrious, which sounded, I thought, just above me. I wish I had kept my candle burning. The night was really dark. My spirits were depressed. Oh, that's close.
Don't stop now, Carlotta. I'll die of suspense.
Who do you suppose is making that noise?
It must be that mad creature locked away in the attic.
Something gurgled and moaned. Ear-long steps retreated up the gallery to the third-story staircase. A door had lately been made to shun that staircase. I heard it open and close, and all was still.
What was that? There's someone out there.
Were you expecting someone else, or is this how you usually greet your visitors? With a chair in front of you for protection.
You frightened us out of our skins.
We weren't expecting visitors at this time of the night.
Why must you go skulking about?
Come to think of it, the only time we see you are at night. Do you ever go about the day like regular people?
If you fire your questions at me a little slower, I'll try and answer them one at a time.
Oh, never mind. Come in and sit down.
Why did you come?
I came to check on Miss Johnny. After you were knocked unconscious by the whiskey jug. How was it my word?
Yes, I still have a lump.
Old Benchley is fairly harmless. Except around gals with rifles.
I'll remember that.
I brought you some flowers. They're wild, but pretty.
They are pretty. Thank you, Mr. Rowland.
I'll go put them in water.
Please sit down.
Huh. Jane Eyre by Curver Bell. Were you reading this?
Yes, it's very thrilling and suspenseful about a man who locks up his mad wife. Do you read, Mr. Rowland?
Occasionally, when the mood hits me. I don't have much use for goth horror novels, though. Real life is enough for me.
Even you, Mr. Rowland, are secretive and mysterious at times.
Well, it ain't fitting that everyone should know everything about a man. Anyway, this Jane Eyre sounds pretty sensational and far-fetched to me.
I suppose you're far too practical for fiction.
Don't have much time for reading.
I love to read. I was going to be a school teacher once.
Once? What happened?
I became engaged.
Engaged? But you're not married now.
No. He was a soldier. In the war.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I should have known you were in mourning from the black you're wearing.
It's been less than 2 years since he died. Ma says it isn't natural for a girl to be in mourning so long.
It takes time for such wounds to heal.
Willie said you were engaged once to the preacher's daughter.
Willie needs somewhere to keep his stories to himself.
We saw a picture hanging in the bedroom and we asked him who she was.
Well, what else did Willie tell you?
He said she died, but he didn't say how.
She died suddenly, before we could marry.
Then you understand.
Yes.
Have you found it easy to go on? To forget?
Well, I don't reckon you ever forget, but life has a way of moving you on whether you want to or not. And it's about time tonight for me to be moving on.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Rowland, and for rescuing us from the desert.
Of course, ma'am. It was my pleasure.
Good night.
It will get easier, Miss Jenny. This is for you. You know, you look mighty pretty in blue.
Stars fading in the sky.
Dad blasted, I hope it don't rain.
This place looks positively deserted. Are you sure this is where she lives?
Sure as shooting. Ain't much to look at, but that's the Rickaby claim, all right. Used to belong to my pa many years back.
Your pa?
Yep. Used to mine up here, but now this place is just full of graves.
What do you mean, graves?
Only two.
Only two? Who do they belong to?
My pa, Lester Rowland, and Lily Rutledge. They're just up there a hill a ways. Were you wanting to go see them?
At this time of night in a storm, are you mad? I don't think we should have come at all. How did they die?
My pa, he was killed in a mine.
How terrible. How was he killed?
He was trapped. One day, he and his partner, Louis Stidger, were working late, and all of a sudden they spotted a gold nugget so big and bright it would outshone the sun. Well, that's when the old gold fever set on them. They fell into fighting so fierce they could have kept it up till Judgment Day if Stidger hadn't pulled out a gun and shot my pa. Well, Stidger weren't the brightest fellow to ever live, because this shot started something to rumbling in the mine. Pretty soon, there was a roaring and a crashing as if the whole world was coming to an end, and the mine started to collapse all about him. Well, my pa, he was wounded real bad. He started hollering and screaming for Stidger to help him. But Stidger, he picked up that nugget of gold and lit out the door, never looking back.
What a dreadful man.
My pa weren't found till days later. He just hung on for a few hours to tell his story and he just let go of life.
And what happened to Stidger?
He disappeared with that gold and weren't ever heard from again.
I'm so sorry.
My brother Theodore, he never properly got over my pa's death. He was powerfully disturbed that there weren't no one to bring Stidger to justice. So he decided right then and there to become sheriff and uphold law and justice.
And did he?
That he did. He left Nifty Clo and closed down the mine for a few years. When he came back, he got himself elected sheriff.
Well, was that mine ever opened again?
Well, Theodore went away. A few adventuresome fellows tried their hand at mining it, but there weren't ever a speck of gold found in it ever again. Folks around here say it's cursed.
Cursed?
It's been quiet and deserted for as long as I can recollect. Sometimes at night, though, you can see the glow of a lantern. You hear the tap, tap, tap of my pa's ghost, still looking for its gold.
Oh, that's the creepiest thing I've ever heard. Let's go back. I've been thinking, if your brother was elected sheriff, how can we go skulking around at night as if he has something to hide?
Maybe he prefers night better than day.
It seems to me there's something mighty suspicious and unnatural about him.
He just keeps to himself, that's all. He's seen a lot of sorrow in his day. First his pa, then Miss Lily.
Is that Lily Rutledge whose picture is hanging at the boarding house?
Yep. She's laid to rest in the meadow. Theodore comes up almost every week to lay flowers on her grave.
You didn't tell us how she died.
She just died.
One day she just laid down and died.
Shucks, scales, ain't the kind of thing I can talk about.
Why not?
I can't say.
It ain't fair to leave a story dangling once it started.
It ain't fair to pry a secret out of a fella who's been told to bite his tongue.
She must have been pretty important to him if he comes back every week and lays flowers on her grave.
Ain't for me. Go spilling on another man's business. And don't go mention it to him either. It's a sorrowful affair and one he don't like to speak of.
What's that?
Where?
Over there! A lantern! Someone's coming! It's a girl. Do you suppose it's Lily's ghost?
That ain't no ghost, that's Betsy. Hello,
stay here and keep an eye out for her pa.
Oh, I don't think this is a good idea. What if her pa hears us?
One of us may end up dead. I'll just hold one of you gals in front of me. You'll be less likely to shoot a lady.
Mom would not like this. Let's just go back to town.
Not after we've come all this way. Willie, just start singing. Go on.
Right. Betsy, she ain't responding.
Good. You sing a little louder.
All right, here goes. Beautiful dreamer, swing down to me. Starlight and moonlight shine up for thee. Sounds of the wild things heard in the day, now in the moonlight are dying away.
Those aren't the right words.
Beautiful dream. Blasted, I forget them words. Out on the sea, mermaids are chanting the wild hoodle-dee. Over the river.
Willie,
Betsy!
what are you doing here?
Can't you tell I'm singing?
I know that, but what if my pa finds you here? You know what he said he'd do to you.
Well, I just can't stop singing you.
You mean he'd risk my pa's fury, just as he could see me?
Well, within reason. Is he around here somewhere?
He's working in the mine.
Lone Jack mine?
I didn't say nothing about the mine. Leastways, I wished I hadn't.
Well, what's he doing in the mine?
I can't say, but he'll be coming back any minute, and then he'll be killed.
I got to tell you something first.
I suppose it's goodbye.
Can you come out here for just teens a second?
Of course.
No time for that, Betsy. We have business to discuss.
There never was a feller before who'd risk my pa's fury just so he could be with me. I'm gonna make you the prettiest, most sentimental gravestone. Billy the Brave risked his life to be with his Betsy, but then was killed by her pa. He will never be forgiven his life, for he was faithful to his agonizing demise. Ain't that pretty?
Pretty. Shakes me to my very boots. What sort of agonizing demise did your pa have in mind?
Ain't you willing to die for me?
Oh, I'd give my life for you. But I think we should use it sparingly and not go throwing it around if it ain't necessary.
It always is necessary in tragical love stories. That's the sarcastic beauty of it. Now, what was it you were wanting to say?
May I have the honor of escorting you to Nancy Glow Ball, if the good Lord seems to extend my life that far.
My pa won't let me, but of course I will.
Well, how can you go if your pa won't let you?
It'll be more adventuresome if he won't let me. You could kidnap me.
Oh, now, Betsy, ain't that a mite too adventuresome for a ball?
There ain't nothing too adventuresome to be with you. Promise me you won't never leave your Betsy.
If I'm killed, I won't have no choice.
Sing me that song you sang to me about the valley.
Down in the valley, valley so low. Hang your head over,
Now,
hear
sing.
the wind
I wish we could get out of here before Puff was back. Willie!
Stop right there, you young thieving scoundrel! What do you have to say for yourself?
I would have been hanged if you didn't just try to kill me.
If I had the mind to kill you, I wouldn't have missed.
Pa, if you hurt him, I'll die. And then they'll put on my gravestone, no more shall Betsy walk this world of woe, for her heart was broken and her love was killed by her pa.
Who's been filling your mind with such nonsensical fiddle-faddle? You're gonna live a long and healthy life, and that's the end to it. Now, what does he come for, you short-legged rascal?
I just going to serenade Betsy.
You ain't got the voice for it. But if it's singing you come for, it's singing you'll do it. Sit down. Betsy. Yeah. Sing. Or have you lost the inclination?
Oh, no, sir. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. Oh,
I'm taking offense to your choice of song.
John Brown's body lies moldering in his grave. John Brown's body
John Brown, a hero of yours?
He was a tireless abolitionist.
And a cold-blooded murderer. My cousin lies a mold in his grave thanks to John Brown and his fanaticisms.
I'm sorry, sir. I reckon I didn't know. I wish I were a Dixie. Away, away.
You a Confederate boy?
Oh, no, sir. Are you?
My son Franklin fought and died to free the slaves. So don't you go singing no Dixie songs on my porch.
Maybe my singing doesn't seem to suit your fancy. Maybe I just gotta be moving on for home.
Most sensible words I have heard all night. Say goodbye, Betsy. You won't be seeing Mr. Rowland again.
Pa!
Betsy, trust your pa and say goodnight.
Mr. Rickaby's, the Nancy Blue Ball's coming up. May I have the honor of escorting Betsy? I swear I'll be the perfect gentleman.
You prove what kind of gentleman you are. Skulk around my house at night like a thief and a murderer. Now get off my land and don't come back.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, Betsy.
I ain't saying goodbye, because I'm going to see you again.
Betsy!
Yes, Pa. Goodbye, Willie.
That's strange. Oh no! Blessed. Oh, Mr. Rowland, what a surprise.
Well, I thought I'd come by and find out how you're doing. Why, Miss Jenny, you've been crying. And I'll be a stuffed pigeon if you ain't trying to hide something from me.
Oh, it's nothing, just a loaf of bread.
Well, what kind of flour did you use?
Coal dust, what you think?
It's just a little burn around the edges. You could scrape that part off.
It won't even come out of the pan.
I'm sure it'll come out of the pan with a little pride and patience. Well, now, Miss Cheney, I think there's only one way to get that bread out of that pan, and that's with an axe.
I suppose I should just give up. Would you like to sit a while?
Thank you, I would.
I'd offer you some coffee, but my coffee turns out worse than my bread.
I'll make us some coffee if you show me where to fix it, sorry.
I suppose your coffee's perfect.
It's strikable.
How am I going to survive out here if I can't cook?
Well, surely your ma taught you how to cook.
Yes, but we had a new cook stove back east. I'm not used to the older ones.
Well, what'd you do on your journey out here?
Starved.
Well, I reckon it takes time, Miss Jenny, to get used to new places and new ways of doing things. You should have seen me back east. I was terrible at all those balls they gave. They told me I should go back home to my cows. Not that I ever had any cows, but they seem to think that everyone who lives out west is a cowboy.
Mr. Roland! Mr. Roland! Lizette and Billy, what were you doing out night? And in this weather? We were up at the mine.
The mine?
We went with Willie to see Betsy, but he's been shot! Shot?
By who?
By Hiram Rickaby. Who's Hiram Rickaby? Betsy's pa. He's a terrible man with a big rifle. He didn't want Willie anywhere near his daughter. Then why did you go to see her? We thought it'd be romantic like if Willie serenaded her in the moonlight.
Well, you sure picked the night for it.
If Willie's lying somewhere dead or wounded because of some silly romantic notion of yours. Oh, Willie!
Dead? And it's our fault?
Willie has plenty of fool's notions without any help. I'll go find him.
Be careful.
Don't worry. I know the place well.
Let's get you dried off.
Willie, you young rascal. Are you all right?
Right as rain, except for a broken heart. But just fine, relented.
Serves you right for doing something so foolhardy.
He tried to kill me.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have gone at night like a low-down thief. If you're gonna court a lady, you ought to do it in broad daylight like an honorable gentleman, where you deserve what you get. And that's another thing. Why didn't you tell me Betsy's pa was Hiram Rickaby?
You didn't ever ask. Besides, I didn't think such an ornery critter worth mentioning.
Well, what do you know about it?
Not much. He's fond of his daughter and his rifle. And that about sums it up.
Well, you must know something else about him.
His 5-year-old mine claim, not long after Miss Lily died, he's been living in it like a hermit ever since. He don't ever appear in public. He's letting your claim go to rack and ruin. So wonder how Betsy turned out such fine living in such squalor.
Well, how's he make his living?
Blamed if I know. Probably a moonshiner. Probably bruise it up in the mine.
The mine?
Well, there's something in there, but Betsy won't spill the secret. It's my strange and shifty-eyed, if you ask me.
One more thing. Does he have a son?
Well, how'd you know that? I was innocently singing Dixie when he got mad as fury and told me I ain't gonna be singing no Dixie song in his porch on account of him having a son who was died freeing the slaves.
I thought so. I need to pay this Hiram Rickaby a visit. I have questions that need answered. You expecting visitors?
Is this the house where Mr. Willie lives?
Betsy?
Willie! Ain't nothing can keep us apart. Not even my pa. I come to run away with you.
Betsy, I'm ashamed of you for thinking such a thought.
I thought it would be romantic-like.
Well, I don't think I'm falling enough for romance to give my life for it. Your pawn hunt me down and make an end of us before he made 2 miles.
You don't think I'm worth the risk?
Well, that ain't it at all. It's a matter of principle. What kind of gentleman would I be if I aided you in deceiving your pa? Now I'm taking you back to your pa.
No, I won't go back to my pa rejected and humiliated.
Boy, you sure as shooting can't stay here.
I wouldn't stay here if you paid me. I don't want to ever see you again, Willie Roland. Willie Roland, put me down or I will never speak to you again.
I'm taking you back to your pa, and there's the end to it. Open that door, Theodore. We're going up that mountain. Hello there. Stop struggling. I ain't letting go. Mr. Rickaby!
Is that you, Willie Roland?
Save me, Pa. He won't let me go.
Mr. Rickaby, I brought your daughter back. I think it's fitting you should know. Although I may serenade her in the moonlight, I'll be hog-tied before go running off of her without your permission.
You're gonna find things, son. I had my doubts about you, but you laid them to rest, and that's a fact.
Well, thank you, sir.
If you still got the mind to it, you have my permission to court and even marry my daughter.
I'm blown right over.
Ain't you beginning something? I don't want to ever see Willie Roland ever again. I wouldn't have him on the silver platter.
We're going to have him, and that's the end to it. This here's a fine upstanding gentleman who respects your boy and will treat you right. Now, you gonna have a good cry and get used to the idea.
As far as I can tell, there ain't even the person called Willie Roland alive.
I reckon it ain't meant to be. It ain't the pa that's angry with me, it's the daughter.
She's feisty and high-strung like her mom before her, and I won't go about denying it. But she's having you, and that's the end to it.
I don't want her marrying me against her will.
It won't be against her will. She's all heated up right now, but she'll be changing her mind about you by and by after she's had a good cry. You see, son, women folks think with their feelings, and their feelings go back and forth as changeful as the wind. I reckon she'll be right as rain by the Nancy-Glow ball.
And that's only 2 weeks away.
You been here the whole time?
Yes, sir, Mr. Hiram Rickaby.
You know my name.
I've been looking for you for over a year now. I'm Theodore Rowland.
Pleasure to meet you.
I believe we've met before, under much less pleasant circumstances.
I never knowed we knowed each other.
Hey, maybe we do and maybe we don't. Now suppose you sit down and tell me what you're referring to.
Okay. 5 years ago, I was lying wounded in a jail cell, facing hanging in the morning. Someone, or rather, 2 people with masks on, broke me out. I didn't recognize their voices nor their manners, and knew that I'd never seen them before in my life.
What's this got to do with me?
Not long after I was rescued, I fainted, dead away from loss of blood and fatigue. And the next thing I knew, I was in a stagecoach, headed back east. There was a young man in the stagecoach with me, and for reasons I didn't know, he seemed to feel it was his duty to care for me. He took me to a farm belonging to his kin from Pennsylvania where I could recover, and in time, he and I both enlisted in the war between the states. We served together for 2 years before he was killed at Petersburg.
Well, that is a mighty touching story, but what's it got to do with me?
Before he died, he told me he had a pa and sister out west in Nancy-Glow. His pa's name, he said, was Hiram Rickaby. I've been looking for you ever since I returned. He dictated a letter to me before he died. It's time I delivered it.
Why, thank you.
He was a fine man and a brave soldier.
That he was.
You broke me out of jail, didn't you? You and your son, Frank.
Well, since you already know, I won't go about denying it.
There's just one question that's been puzzling me all these years. Why did you and Franklin, complete strangers to me, risk your lives to break a man accused of theft and murder out of jail?
Because I knew you were innocent. I knew you'd be hung in the morning if I didn't do something.
Well, how'd you know I was innocent?
Because I knew who was guilty.
Markham?
The new sheriff, Markham?
He ain't much of a sheriff, and this ain't the first time I've encountered him. He and his brother used to run a gang over by Carter Flat where I lived a while back. They were known as the Riders of Fire because every time they robbed a stagecoach, they'd set it ablaze and send it hurling over the nearest cliff.
Just like our bandits. That's how the Fire Nails got slain. Said they set the whole gorge to blazing.
Well, whatever happened to Markham's brother?
He was caught and hung over at Carter Flat. Markham, however, managed to escape and came here to start over again.
I got me a question. After Theodore went away, why'd you buy this ramshackle, old shanty, and worthless mine?
Well, I wanted a remote place fairly close to the Fire and Airs to keep an eye on Markham and his band. He kept riding after you were gone. But he kept blaming it on you.
On me? I was back east fighting in the war.
Well, you knew that, and I knew that, but none of these townfolk knew any different. For all they knew, you had escaped from jail and rejoined your gang, living and hiding like an outlaw.
Ah! I knew he was behind all this, but I had no proof.
He knew you were on his trail. That's why he had to get rid of you.
Why are you so set on seeing Markham brought to justice?
It's time someone put an end to his reign of tyranny, once and for all.
How?
We use bait.
What bait?
Well, there is one thing that Markham has a weakness for, and that's gold.
So where are you gonna get gold? I don't got no gold. You don't got no gold. And you sure don't got no gold.
Things aren't always as they seem. Hidden away in this decrepit shanty is a fortune in gold.
Where did you get it? You abandoned it too?
No, a miner. When I bought this land, I tried my hand at mining the Lone Jack mine. Richest strike I have seen in years.
Well, why didn't you tell nobody?
This place would have been overrun with fortune seekers. Besides, I've been saving it up for your return.
I'll be hog-tied. You're rich. You bought the mine. You mined it. It's yours. I wouldn't have anything to do with it anyway. I lost 2 people I love on account of greed.
Well, then let's use it to see that Markham is brought to justice.
Well, now we got the bait. Who's gonna dangle it? Me? Why me? Well, you always were fond of tale-telling, and you have a remarkable way of making a simple story grow into a tall tale. Yeah, I do. Spread the word around town that the Lone Jack mine turned out to be a rich strike after all, and that a king's ransom in gold is hidden away in the Rickery shanty. Then, we'll wait until Markham bites.
It's nice to have a bright evening for a change. We've had callers every night this week.
This town is just brimming full of mighty fine boys, ain't it?
That's enough, I suppose.
Jenny hasn't looked at a man twice since she met that Theodore Rowland.
I still wonder what he said to you, to get you to wear color again, when we've tried unsuccessfully for 2 years.
Well, if you ask me, he's mighty smitten with you too. Coming by all the time to check on you, bringing you flowers, even when you've been healthy as a horse for weeks.
He hasn't been to see me for 3 days now.
Is that why you've been moping about? That ain't no cause for discouragement. He'll be back.
Maybe. I wish Mr. Markham wouldn't come by so often.
Who?
You know, the sheriff.
I don't know what you're complaining about. Having 2 faithful suitors?
He's very kind and polite, but somehow I just can't seem to warm to him. It's as if he's wearing a mask. And no matter how hard I try, I can't push through to discover the true man.
Sounds like one of those books you're always reading.
He said he'd come calling tonight. I'm afraid he's going to ask if he can escort me to the ball.
Well, if he asks, just say yes.
Must I, Mom?
Well, if she goes with Mr. Markham, then she can't go with Mr. Rowland.
I don't think he'll ask me.
He ain't sociable at all. I still say there's something wrong with a man who only comes around at night, as if he's hiding from the world.
He's had a tragic past, losing the girl he was going to marry.
I think there's more to that story than he or Willie will let on. Whenever we try to find out about it, he just clams up, as if he were guarding some terrible secrets.
All he said is that it's a real tragic affair.
That's Mr. Markham. Promise you won't leave me alone with him.
I promise.
Mr. Markham.
Miss Ellen, why aren't you looking nice tonight? As are the rest of you. Wow, Miss Jenny. Never seen you wear color before. I must say, you take my breath away when you wear blue.
Oh, it's nothing. Just an old dress I had.
Why, if you wear that to the Angelo ball, you'd be the prettiest girl there.
Oh, I probably won't even go.
Is no one asked to escort you yet?
Not exactly, but really I prefer to stay home.
Why, it'd be a crime for a young lady as pretty as yourself to stay home. Wouldn't it be a crime?
A terrible crime. Just awful.
Miss Jenny, I'd be honored if you'd allow me to escort you to the Nantiglo Ball. Please say yes.
Will you give me until tomorrow to think on it?
Of course. I'll be waiting with breathless anticipation for your answer.
Mr. Slauson, how are you this evening?
Happy as a cricket now that I've seen you, and I haven't had a drink in about a week.
Mr. Slauson, I'm so proud of you. Won't you come in and have a seat?
Oh, shucks, ma'am. I don't feel worthy to set foot in your parlor after lamming Miss Jenny over the head with a whiskey jug.
Now, Mr. Slauson, you know that was forgiven long ago.
Shucks, gal.
Benchley Slauson.
Mr. Markham, sir. I am not bothering these fine ladies. I'm just moving along.
You hit Miss Jenny over the head with the whiskey jug?
It was self-defense. She was shooting at me. I apologize.
I thought you said you was hallucinating. You said it was Lily Rutledge.
Well, it was dark. At least I knowed it was a gal.
Alright, now get out of here. Don't come bothering these fine ladies again.
I'm a good.
Good night, Mr. Slauson.
Good night.
You shouldn't be so cruel to Mr. Slauson. He's trying very hard to change his ways.
Men like Slauson don't change. He'll be a worthless drunk for the rest of his days. Miss Jenny, I don't want you around such trash. It's too dangerous.
I'm perfectly capable of choosing my own company. Thank you, Mr. Markham.
I'm just looking out for your well-being. Some men aren't what they seem. Take Mr. Theodore Rowland, for example.
What about Theodore Rowland?
According to Benchley Slauson, you was with Mr. Rowland the night he hit you over the head with a whiskey jug.
It was Theodore Rowland. And I'll let you know he was very kind to me.
Just a word of advice. Don't believe everything he says.
What do you mean?
Why, I suppose he told you his tragic tale of Miss Lily Rutledge.
Yes, she was the girl he was going to marry, but she died.
He didn't tell you how she died?
No, I assumed it was too painful for him to talk about. It was a tragic death, I know.
Oh, it was tragic, all right. Because he was the cause of it.
I don't believe you.
I'm just telling the truth. You afraid of the truth?
I'm not afraid of anything.
I suppose you've been wondering why he sneaks around at night like he's afraid to be seen.
I have wondered, but I'm sure he has his reasons.
Oh, he has his reasons, all right. Because he knows if he ever shows his face in this town again, his hangman's noose wait for him. Because he's a criminal. Wanted for thievery and murder Miss Lily Rutledge.
How dare you! What a terrible accusation! I think you should leave, Mr. Markham.
Believe what you will, Miss Jenny. I'm just looking out for your well-being. Theodore Rowland is nothing but trouble. Good night, ladies.
Oh, Jenny, it can't be true, can it?
Of course it ain't true, lamb.
What reason for Mr. Markham for making up such wild accusations about Mr. Rowland?
Would the sheriff lie about such things? There is something strange about how Mr. Rowland goes about at night, as if he doesn't want anyone to know he's there.
And he never has told us how, Lily, Dad. Even Willie won't speak of it. As if it were a terrible secret.
Supposing what Mr. Markham said is true.
He could murder us some night in our beds, just like Lily!
Now that's enough. Let's not go imagine ourselves murdered until absolutely necessary. We'll find out the truth about him. We'll ask his mom.
He's his son. Of course you believe he's innocent.
Then we'll ask Willie.
Willie's his brother.
Well, we'll think of something.
There must be somebody in this town who knows the truth.
this morning, but there ain't much good about it.
Well, where have you been?
Or it could be claimed.
Oh, is Betsy speaking to you again?
No, I reckon she aims to hold out till doomsday. Guess I'll have to go to Nantigal Ball tonight alone.
Well, now, Mr. Willie, that's too bad. I know you were mighty keen on going to the ball with Betsy.
That I was. Dad blast it! That gal's gotta learn that the sun don't stop rising and setting on account of her being all riled up. I'm gonna go to that ball and I'm gonna dance the jig to the fiddle as if it was my last day on earth. Now, which one of you gals do I escort?
I promised Mr. Jackson I'd accompany him.
Mr. Billings already asked me.
Miss Jenny?
Will Mr. Rowland not be going?
No, ma'am. He don't appear in public on purpose.
No, I suppose not, on account of the past.
I reckon there's some that might take a shot at him. Besides, he's powerfully busy tonight at the Rickety claim, getting ready to ship out loads of valuables.
What sort of valuables?
Oh, it ain't my place to be saying, ma'am. But let me tell you, there's enough riches in that claim to buy Solomon and all his wives.
Willie, I'd be pleased to have you escort me to the ball.
Thank you, ma'am. Only on the understanding that my heart is already took.
I understand.
I found something. Oh, morning, Willie. Would you excuse us for a moment?
Why so secretive, gal?
Just
all right. I'll get.
What is it?
Everything Sheriff Markham said is true. I went down to the Nanticoke Gazette and looked through all the old newspapers, because, as we know, newspapers never lie. And I found this 5 years back. See for yourselves, it's all true.
I can't look.
May 8th, 1861. Yesterday morning at 11:30, Sheriff Theodore Rowland was arrested just before he reached Deep Creek Pass. On further investigation, it was learned that he was trying to make a getaway with money and valuables that had recently been stolen from the Nanticoke Bank. Miss Lily Rutledge, daughter of Reverend Francis Rutledge, was with him at the time of the arrest. She died at 5:40 this evening.
Read what it says down here.
Sheriff Rowland was in prison at the Nanticoke Bank awaiting trial. At 2 o'clock in the morning, however, it was broken into by 2 masked men, and Rowland managed to escape. A posse has been sent out to track down the 3 men. Alfonso Markham says he will not rest until Rowland is finally brought to justice.
Then this is a more recent paper I found.
Yesterday, the Granite Springs stage was robbed and set on fire as it entered the fiery Narrows. The leader of the bandits is thought to be Theodore Rowland, who escaped jail 5 years ago after being arrested for bank robbery and murder.
How could I have been so deceived? Now, Jenny, we were all deceived. He seemed like such a nice young man.
Should we tell someone we've seen him? He's a dangerous criminal.
Mr. Markham is the sheriff now.
Yes, I suppose we ought to tell him. But it does seem a shame. Seemed like such a nice young man.
We're following him now.
Sheriff Markham.
Ladies, Jenny, you've been crying. What's happened?
We just found out the truth about Theodore Rowland. That he's a thief and a criminal.
I'm so sorry you had to learn the ugly truth. I suspect you were fond of him.
What does it matter? I was grossly deceived in him.
We were all deceived. But I do hope you believe me, that he's a dangerous criminal. And we must see to it that he's been put behind bars. Now he's a slippery one, and he's been eluding the hand of justice for many years now. If you know anything about him, it is your duty to tell me, so that he can be brought to justice.
He'll be at the Rickety claim tonight to win the ball. Oh, Willie said something about him shipping out some valuables. Who he stole them from, I don't know.
Miss Jenny, I hope you know you've done the right thing. Well, ladies, I must be going. I have an unpleasant duty to carry out tonight. tonight. We have some other business to take care of. Noose is tightening around Roland. I know you couldn't keep out of the grass forever. What do you know about some valuables being shipped out tonight?
I reckon you mean all of his gold.
What? Gold?
That Low Jack mine must be a rich strike after all. It's all over town. That old Rickaby fella's been pouring it away in the shanty for years.
Perhaps we can make a handsome profit and deal with Roland on North Coast. This time, we don't need to involve the people of this town. We'll just finish off Roland quickly and quietly.
Well, this is a fine party. Ain't it a fine party, girls?
Yes, Mom.
I never saw such long faces.
I can't help it, Ma. I just saw Sheriff Markham leave. When I think of what could be happening right now.
Now, girls, you best put it off your minds. What's meant to be, will be.
Miss Jane, may you pleasure me with this dance?
Well, go on.
Yes, Ma. Okay.
You said you would not take me on a silver platter. So why do you care if I go have a little dance with another gal?
I didn't mean it.
Well, if you didn't mean it, then why'd you say it? What am I supposed to believe?
There you go again. I'm always making you angry. I'll never be good enough for you.
Now, Betsy, you sure are shooting ain't a perfect gal. That's the honest truth. But I figured that into the bargain. I wouldn't have any other gal but you.
What about her?
Miss Jenny? Why, there ain't nothing between Miss Jenny and I. I reckon Theodore's got the first claim on her.
Does he indeed? Well, you may tell him he need not keep up the charade any longer. I know everything.
What's a charade?
How could you keep it from us?
Keep what from you, ma'am?
That he's a thief and a murderer.
Who?
Theodore Rowland.
Theodore Rowland? Why, he's no more of a thief and a murderer than I am. Someone's been poisoning your mind against him. Who?
You need not try and defend him. Sheriff Markham told us everything.
And I suppose you took it as gospel truth, like everybody else in this town. Ain't enough to see the gal he loves murdered in cold blood. No, everybody has to go around and accuse him of murdering her and try to kill him too.
What do you mean?
He would have given his life for Lily Rutledge. He's trying to get out of town because she's been receiving death threats on account of him.
Who would have wanted to kill Lily Rutledge?
The bandits that Theodore was just getting too close to catching. They planned that money in his wagon and framed him with Miss Lily's murder so they could get him out of the way. And they sure as shooting near succeeded.
So that's why he only come around town at night.
He would have been hanged for sure.
Would Sheriff Markham hang him?
You can bet your last rooster on it.
Oh, Willie, I've done a terrible thing. I told Sheriff Markham Mr. Rowland would be at the Rickaby claim.
You mean while we've been here kicking up our heels, Marco's been blowing Theodore ball holes?
Yes, and it's all my fault.
Oh, I'm going for my rifle. You gals stay here. Don't come up to the Rickaby claim. There's gonna be shooting.
How could I have been such a fool?
Goddard, we all have our moments of foolery, I reckon.
But he could die because of me. I'm not going to let him face Markham alone. Not when it's my fault.
Where are you going?
Up the mountain.
But Willie said,
Tell my mom and sisters where I'm going.
of course, but...
Jenny's in trouble?
Get your guns.
Leaping toads, I've never seen a room clear out so fast.
I've been expecting you. It's right neighborly of you to pay me a call. Why, I wouldn't consider myself any kind of gentleman if I didn't welcome you back to the neighborhood. I'm disappointed you didn't bring your news. Why, Mr. Rowland, there are other ways to welcome a man home. This time, I intend to finish you off for good. Where I want you. I could say the same thing about you.
Drop your pistol.
You see, Mr. Rowland, it's useless to struggle. There's nothing here for you except death and disgrace. When I put this gun against your head for the final time, there'll be no one to mourn for you or remember you with bitter tears. There'll be nothing to say except that Theodore Rowland, the thief and the murderer, got what he deserved.
You haven't got the better of me yet.
And who do you expect to save you? No one in this town believes you're innocent. Why, even your gal, Miss Jenny Nettleton, who looks so sweet and blue, betrayed you. Well, I'm here tonight on her recommendation. I don't believe it. I'll give you some time to get used to the idea. Time up, boys. And I must thank you for this tidy profit. I was a little short on gold. Opie, keep an eye on our guest.
Why, Sheriff, it does if I could see you standing there, all defeated back. It reminds me of another time when you had a rope all cozy around your neck. Oh! What a darn snap! I hang myself!
I knew you wouldn't betray me.
Well, well, well. But ain't Miss Jenny come to pay her respects?
You killed him!
And we couldn't have done it without you. Bad shot.
Step away from Mr. Rowland or I'll shoot.
Go ahead.
Don't shoot us, Willie, aim at them!
I'm trying.
Put him out of his misery.
All right, you have what you want. Now get out of here before I fill your ungrateful hound with lead.
Why, Miss Jenny, this isn't the kind, gentle lady I've come to know.
Don't try and play the gentleman with me. I know what you really are.
I suppose they told you that I'm the leader of the gang that framed Rowland?
Well, didn't you?
As a matter of fact, I did. And as you can see, it paid off.
We'll see about that! We've heard everything you said!
We've all heard you.
Drop your gun!
Show yourselves!
The game's up, Markham. You admitted your guilt. We're all witnesses to it.
Drop your gun!
Alfonso Markham, I arrest you for thievery and murder. Your days of terrorizing this county are over.
And who are you to arrest me?
Perhaps you don't remember me. I'm U.S. Marshal Howard Russell. I arrest you. You should have learned from his mistakes. Take him away and make sure Celia don't stay.
I think I got it, Mr. U.S. Marshal, sir. That's for shooting the sheriff. The only man who ever had a kind word for old Danchley.
Willie, you're wounded.
It ain't nothing, one scratch.
I'm sorry I didn't speak to you. And I'm sorry I doused your picture. And I'm sorry I ripped up your picture.
You ripped up my picture? I had to steal that from my own mother.
Boy, just marry her quick before she changes her mind.
I ain't changing my mind this time.
Now, where is our sheriff from?
Miss Kitty. I'm alright, you see.
It's all my fault. None of this would have happened if I just believed you.
If you ask me, everything seemed to turn out exactly as planned. Right, Hiram?
Well, with a few minor glitches. All I can say is, for being an outlaw, you sure do have a lot of friends. I reckon this belongs to you. It's time you took your rightful place in this town. Sheriff, Roland.